As you remember, Frog won the bigger barrel contest. His HPA GBBRs are the best you can get. For example, this M110 SASS with a suppressor, of course. So what's the best way to become better? Is to mimic the master. Maybe the gun is smaller, but it's much more tactical. It's quite handy with its 16 inches. It has a huge compensator and... what's that? Once again, let's have a look. Why this bolt catch release is so loose? Frog's bolt catch release is stiff. It's much nicer. Oh, it cannot be like this. Frog guns are always better. I think it's time to pimp my gun. Hello and welcome to next episode of Pimp My Gun. Gun! For a time now I did not post any Pimp My Gun videos, and I have a perfect thing going into this category, so I'm gonna record a video about this. And it's the bolt catch arm, this one, on the M110 guns from VFC, which annoys me like hell. This is the ambidextrous feature. What's wrong with it? Basically it's very loose. It has this rod underneath that runs to the bolt catch on the other side, so when you press it, this rod presses on the bottom of the bolt catch arm on the other side and releases the bolt, obviously. But there are a few things wrong with it. The first is that this arm is so loose that it can go here over the arm, preventing you from pushing it in, which is annoying and damages your lower receiver. Or what could happen is that when you carry the gun around, this arm is completely loose. So right now I have a Frog engineering magazine. It was pushing on the bolt catch inside anyway, but you can see now when there is no magazine and the arm is, let's say, loose or not forced to this open position, if I rotate the gun, the arm opens. And this annoys me very much. This should not happen in the real gun. In the real gun, this rod, I will put it on a screen now, this rod has the thread on the tip, so it's threaded permanently to the arm on the other side, and they always move together, and it can never happen that this arm will be so loose. So what's so bad about this is that one thing, I already can see how you catch with this arm against your webbing or whatever you carry around, especially if you are left-handed, because it will move all the time everywhere. And second thing is that you don't really know if this is opened or not. Sometimes when you press it, it doesn't work. It's really annoying. This gun costs a ton of money, and I think that it should be perfect, so I will show you how to fix it to this stage. Like in this gun, where the arm is stiff, you cannot push this rod up. I actually cannot really lift it unless I will have an empty magazine. If I rotate the gun, you see the lever does not move at all, and even if I will try to lift it up by hand somehow, let me try and do this, I don't know if I can, maybe with a screwdriver. Even if I will try to move it, it will go back. Yeah, so even if I will force it to this position and I release it like this, you see it goes back. So this is exactly how this should work in the real firearm. If I insert an empty magazine, and this is for the Frog Engineering and HPA conversion, but it will work the exact same way in the regular GBBR, you can see that now the arm opens nicely, it sticks out, yeah. Now I can catch it with my finger, put the finger underneath, and when I release it, it nicely closes, it's flush more or less, and when I have the magazine out, it stays there, yeah. So let's see how I did it. First, let's take out this arm. So it's pretty simple. There is a screw here. You need to undo it like that. And when you take it out, this arm will be loose and you can completely remove it from the gun. Okay, and it pulls out also this rod. And the shape of this rod differs significantly between different guns. So sometimes it looks like this, sometimes it looks differently. But this is the exact part that we will replace. And for the modification, we need to remove this side of the bolt catch too. So again, here is the screw. and we just need to undo it. It serves as the axis for the arm, so let's take it out. We don't need to remove it completely, but just so that the arm slips out. Okay, and there is the spring here, which we want to take out and put this aside. So how it works is that this rod actually goes through this hole on the other side, through the spring like this, and it pushes here on the bottom part of the bolt catch. Actually, you can see the marking here. So we want to replace this rod. It should be permanently attached somehow like to this arm here, just the same way as it's done in the firearm, but because of the trigger mechanism and this trigger firing pin assembly here, they could not do it in the replica, so they did it this way. But I have a way how to overcome it, and for this we will need two things. First thing is a hex key, 1.5mm dimension, and the second thing is a screw like this. It's an M3 screw, 5mm long without the head. So actually this hex key fits to this screw. So I can put it like this, you see, and they fit together. This hex key has to be a little long, and we will be bending this, so I will show you how in a moment. So make sure that the hex key you are using is actually like possible to be bent. It cannot break when you bend it 90 degrees. Yeah, I have a long one that's more than enough material to do two of those replacement arms or rods. Take that hex key I said, and we bend it and cut it to this particular shape. So you can see it's copying the shape of the original rod. It's just tiny bit shorter here and tiny bit shorter on this side. Exactly here, if you check, it should be 4.5mm. So it is like that. And for the length, with the worm screw completely on, you want this to be 33.5 more or less. Yeah, so I'm a little higher than this, should be okay. But generally it's copying the shape. As I said, it's tiny bit shorter here on this side. Here on this side it's 4.5mm, and the total length is just below 34mm. So what we will do now is we will assemble our new arm to the gun, and you will understand how this is supposed to work. So now I'm gonna put the rod through this hole where it's supposed to be, like this, and it will end up on the other side. I need to hold it down with something, so I actually can use this arm to just put it here, hold it with my finger. So the tip of the rod is here. And when it's like this, I will take this worm screw and apply just a bit of glue into this hole where you put in the key normally. Just a very little bit. And I will push it over this rod so that basically it sticks to the rod on its tip. So the screw will now be attached to the rod. And actually, you may already notice it will be hard to remove it right now, because in order to remove the trigger block here, we need to take out this rod first, but it will have enough clearance so that when you push it in, it will go under the body. You can tilt this, just like in my conversion assembly video I show how to do it. So actually at the end I will copy a piece showing you how to take this out after that modification. And the last step is to take this spring, and we need to apply it onto the screw and basically screw it in over the screw. Yeah, so you will notice that actually it catches really nice against the thread, and it goes nicely in. Here we will reverse the assembly sequence a bit. First let's assemble back this arm, and for that I need to push with some screwdriver. So you see I press here and the rod goes out, and I can put the arm over the rod. And here goes the arm. Okay. Now let's put this screw back so that the arm rotates how it should. Okay, so now see it's in place, the rod is there, and if I press here, you see I can open the arm, right? So it's exactly what I want. Now I can put back this arm and I can put in the screw, tighten it. And right now you can see how it works. If I press on the bolt catch, obviously it presses on this arm on the other side. With the arm I'm pressing on the bolt catch, obviously it's connected like it was previously. The only difference is that although we did not connect the rod directly to the bolt catch arm, we at least forced it to go back all the time because of the spring that is attached to the screw, which is the tip of the rod right now. Yeah. So if I will catch this, let's say, and I pull on it, it will go back because the spring pulled it back. And if I rotate this, yeah, you see there is a bit of play because obviously this is not fully fitted, but it does not open that much and it moves back. If you want to further improve it, you can actually put some filling in this hole here, because this rod that we are using, the same as the original rod, has smaller diameter than this hole. It's pretty small, and you can see how much play the arm has on this rod itself. It's quite a lot. So if you want to tighten this, it's also possible, and then it will be even stiffer like on the other gun where I showed you. So I worked on this a little more. You can see now from this inside of the arm there is some modeling putty added, so the size of the hole is smaller, and right now it should restrict pretty much all the clearance in that movement. So let's put this onto the gun and make the last check. So here is the final reassembly of my lower. And I put in this arm that has the reduced clearance with some putty. Okay, so it sits more tightly, and the putty is on this side of the pin, let's say. So if I try to move it with something, because it's hidden, so it's not so simple, you see that this clearance is really reduced. Obviously there always will be some clearance, yeah, but if I rotate it, it does not open anymore. So nothing will come under the lever here, pushing it outwards or like pulling it with some molly or something. And you can see also it works normally, so I can open it. Everything's fine. So the last thing left is to put your upper receiver on, of course, with a ton of nice gear on the gun. Then take a magazine, in my case of course from Engineering mag, but it will work exactly the same with a regular gas mag. So you can see that already the arm is a little out when you insert the magazine, because already the spring and the follower put some force on the arms for the bolt catch when the magazine is empty. So if I reload it, it should block normally, so let's try it. Okay, it blocked, and you want to press it to make sure it works, and there should like be no very hard resistance or anything, yeah, so you should be able to easily close it, which is my case. Let's do it again. And again. Actually I'll use my trigger finger, so let's say the ultimate test it works. I'm using the trigger finger. If I can release it easily, then it's perfectly fine. No problem whatsoever. Okay, so this way the gun is ready and the annoying element is removed. Now it's perfect. The only question that still is open is how to remove and insert this modified firing pin retainer, because right now the pin will be holding it in the body because it goes through, and you cannot pull it out like the regular one. It's attached on two sides. On one side there is a hook, as you know, and on the other side there is the screw. I'll copy now some videos from the old assembly manual I did for the conversion, and in that assembly video you can actually see how I remove it and how I put this back into the receiver with this lever already in place. So here you can see how you open it. Of course, I don't have the attachment screws already. I can push the screw with the spring inside under the receiver wall, and then from the other side I need to rotate the rod upside down. If there is some resistance, you can use some tool to do it, but when you rotate it upside down and you pull it a little tilted, the left side upwards first, the spring will jump back and release the complete part. To insert the part, you do exactly the opposite. So first you need the rod to be facing down. You put it tilted on the right side first, so that the rod goes through the opening in the receiver on the right side. I can push the screw with the spring inside under the receiver wall, and then you are able to push it also down on the left side, and then you need to rotate this rod into the upright position and it will jump back easily. That's all. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, leave comments if you like it, share with your friends. More materials regarding the GBBRs will be coming, and as always, remember, may the power of GBBR be with you.